So we are here with the first of the SG candidate interviews. Tell us who you are.
Hi, I'm Phil Abbruscato. I'm a rising senior and I'm running for student body president.
I'm Dilan Wickrema, also a rising senior, and I'll be running for student body vice president.
We'll be doing these interviews with all of the student body president and vice president nominees. So what are some of the biggest issues facing students right now?
One of the major theme of our campaign is that we are students for a better Mason. Basically realizing that there are a lot of changes going on right now, and a lot of things that are happening. We want to make sure that students are the top priority of all those changes. So this involves things from anything from academics, student services, university life. Those are the sorts of things that we feel that students really need to have their place as big priority in the changes that as they happen here at this university. One of the major things is that we're advocating for the need for a third dining hall, one that would be the size of Southside and of Ike's, somewhere maybe in the Aquai neighborhood, in addition to the Mason Inn dining facility once it opens, because there's really there's a large deficit in terms of seating.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just going on Phil's point, there are a lot of changes going on in the university, which is great. We love that the university is looking towards the future. But we can't forget about the students that are at Mason now, and that's very important to us, really working that and making sure the changes, while it is great, like I said before, to make sure that our university is growing and building and getting up there in the national scale of universities, it's also important to make sure the students get the best experience possible while they're here, because then when they're alumni, they can look back and say, hey, I had a great time at George Mason. But continuing off that, student conduct, that's what I've been working with for over 3 years now. And really just continue to work with that next year. We're looking to implement a Safe Rides program. We've been talking that for several years now. I think we're done with the research part and we're more into implementation and really reaching out to Fairfax City Council, working with admin, working with the people that actually get this stuff done, as well as working with student conduct on how they hold our records. So right now I believe your records stay within the university student conduct-wise for 10 years. We're really looking to reduce that to about 5 years. So we really have long-term goals, like what Phil was talking about, and Safe Rides, the dining hall and Safe Rides. And then we have a lot of short-term goals that we can complete within a year that hopefully will be able to be serving our student body.
How big of a role does SG play in some of the decision-making factors behind?
It's interesting to look at the scope of this university. You have some departments here that we have constant contact with their administrators. For example, dining administrators here. I've served on on our student government dining committee for the past year or so, and really had the opportunity to give feedback to them, see what students want to see changed. We've had the opportunity, dining and otherwise, to build bridges with university administrators and faculty alike, all who are the ones that are the key components to having those sorts of questions and those sorts of decisions made. In terms of student government's role in seeing those things come to pass, we're really here as an advocacy group. We act as the student voice. The more people that are behind a specific idea, the more we can be on board for advocating to administrators, continuously going on them, having students serve on university committees and things like that. Then the better our chances are to have the university administrators listen to what we have to say.
What do you think are some of the challenges that are facing students right now that you'd like to see corrected as president and vice president?
I think some of the big challenges, kind of like what we were talking about before, is making sure the students now are being taken care of and their concerns are being heard of. So that's where dining is coming involved. That was our big thing. A lot of these projects, we're not just starting to work on them next year. We're working on them now. We worked on them in the past, and no matter what happens, we'll be working on them in the future. And I think that's big for the voters to know, is that we will still be working either way. But those big challenges are just really making sure that students now are being taken care of, that they have enough dining facilities, that they have enough study space, not just study space, but also 24-hour study space. We recently, last year, helped move forward with the building of the Blue Ridge. Not building, but having a 24-hour study space at the Ridge and working with housing. And so the administration loves working with us on these projects or any challenges that we see. Phil and I have really built up those relationships with them already, so when we come to them with problems, they love to work with us. They know how we operate and how student government operates, so that will make it a lot easier next year when we're trying to look at a lot of these bigger problems.
I think an important thing to note is that we are attending Mason at a very exciting time during its span as a university. There's just so much happening, so much going on. We have President Cabrera, who has a new vision and an idea for the university, and there's just so much good change that is intended to go on. But we want to make sure that all of that good change has students at the priority. That's the bottom line. That's what we are trying to achieve in all of these changes, that students are the ones that are the focal point, that their needs are the ones that are being met. Not just students who will attend Mason 10 years from now, but the students that are here today.
How does SG fit into the governance model at Mason?
The way we see student government is basically it's a liaison between the student body and the university administration. I think we've done a really good job as an organization over the past few years of increasing our transparency. However, I think there still is an issue with our visibility on campus. It goes to the idea, if a tree falls in the forest and no one's around, does it really fall? So looking into different ways to change ourselves internally in this aspect that allows us for students to know that, go to the Office of Student Involvement, go to the back room, that's where the student government office is, those are where your representatives are, we are here for you. If you have a question or a comment or concern or something that you need to be brought to an administrator but you don't know where to go, we want to make that the culture that we are the ones that you go to. This is the organization where you reach out to.
I think another big thing is, showing our visibility not only with students, but with the rest of the administration, faculty, and staff. This year in particular, we have done an awesome job with reaching out to staff members, faculty members, and the rest of the administration, really working with them. I'm the staff liaison, so I go to all the staff senate meetings. We have a faculty liaison. They go to all the faculty liaison meetings. Phil's been sitting on a lot of committees. So we're really not only trying to reach out to the students, but the whole Mason community in general, which is really important to building up that Mason, community, that Mason trust, and really working on shared governance in general. It's not just students, not just staff, not just faculty, it's all of us working together.
Last question. What do you think separates you from the other presidential candidates and you from the other vice presidential candidates?
At the end of the day, the reason why we are running is basically a three-point idea. One, we have the experience. We have built bridges with university administrators. We have worked on university committees on big plans to change the university for service of students. We have the experience in serving students, and we both have been in student government for the past 2.5 years. It's our third year here. And we both have leadership positions in those roles. Two, we are committed to several ideas. We have larger plans that we wish to accomplish, like the Safe Rides program, like the third dining hall, that we have a vision for, that we plan on heavily advocating for towards the university administration. And then we have some short-term goals as well, which we feel that we can accomplish. And third, we're determined. We know how the way this university works. We know what it takes in order to get things done. And we've shown that in the past we have worked to get things done, and we plan on taking these ideas that we do have and making sure students are the first priority, and that we, in the end, can accomplish a better Mason.
Phil summed it up nicely right there, but I think something to look at is, not only do we have the tools, the know-how, and the ability to do so, we have, the experience, which is very important. We already have these bridges built with the administration, with student organizations that really matter. So really putting that all together into one package and saying, hey, we've been working here at this school for 2.5 years, 3 years now. We already have all these ideas. We're ready to bring these ideas and bring them to the administration and bring those ideas to fruition to the students, and making sure the students really enjoy their experience here at Mason. That's something that we can guarantee if we start really just working with student groups, working with administration, and the rest of the Mason community.
Sounds good. Thank you very much. That's Phil Abbruscato and Dilan Wickrema.
Pleasure.